Antigravity asked us to test this drone, but the problem is we're in Paris. It's hard to shoot footage in Paris or around Paris. And let's be honest, I'm really not an expert when it comes to drones. So I called Hugo back. Some of you might remember him, he used to make videos for Nowtech. Since then, he's become an expert in action footage. He's also become a surfing expert. He lives in the southwest and he really knows how to capture great shots. So feel free to follow him on Instagram to check out all his activities. And now let's watch his video together.
Thanks Jerome, I'm happy to finally be back on Nowtech with you after so long. Don't worry, despite a few minor issues during the shoot, I didn't crash the drone. Alright, let's get started because today we have the world's first 360 drone. Whether it's in post-production or during the shoot, this is by far the most unique and special experience I've ever had with a drone. So let's get started right away.
Since ancient times, people have dreamed of flying. To feel that unique sensation, floating in the air. To observe the world from above, free from any constraints. But until now, this dream remained out of reach. With a regular drone, you stay grounded, hands on a remote control and eyes fixed on a small screen. Then FPV drones appeared, along with their famous immersive goggles. A big step forward, but still not quite the leap. Because in the end, it's still just a screen inside a headset. But today, everything changes. A new brand, Antigravity, has just unveiled the world's first 360 drone. A revolution not only in post-production, but also in the filming experience itself. For the very first time, you can control a drone in 360 immersion with real-time head tracking. You look around, the world moves, you're literally in the air. In fact, that's it, you're flying.
And I've been flying drones for years. Almost every week I've done hundreds of shoots. So drones, all that, I know it well. Today, we'll get our hands on this special drone and find out what sets it apart. How does it work? What can you do with it? How do you control it? What could it mean for the drone industry's future? If these topics interest you, you'll enjoy this video. Note, this isn't a test and it's not a comparison either. It's mainly a review, but that won't stop me from telling you what I think, whether it's the positives or the areas that could be improved. Alright, let's get started right away. So in front of us, we have the world's very first 360 drone created by this new brand, Antigravity. So it's a unique brand because it's incubated or at least partnered with Insta360, that famous brand that makes 360 cameras and action cameras. So we can assume that the 360 technology on the drone comes more or less from them. It's a small, very light drone because it weighs less than 250 grams. And you can see that there's no gimbal. There isn't a stabilizer with motors. It's really a system where you have two 360 cameras stacked one on top of the other and attached with a small, relatively stable mount. I think it's because 360 videos are already extremely stable by default, so there's no need for additional stabilization. But then, why is this drone so special? Because it's not a regular drone, but it's not an FPV drone either. It's an immersive drone. And what does that mean? Well, it means it's controlled with an immersive headset, this one, and a motion controller. We literally see what the drone sees, except we can move around in space with our gaze. We can look up, down, left, and right. You simply point to your destination, accelerate, and the drone flies there. We'll discuss image quality, drone features, and provide more details. But first, let's test it, since I've never flown a drone like this. Come with me. Here's the famous one. I'm flying it for the first time in front of you. It has cameras on top and underneath for 360-degree view. And a funny little thing I noticed is that when you turn it on, the landing gear deploys. I'm going to set it down right here next to me. Next, you turn on the remote control, and what I'm going to do now is plug in the battery and I'll connect it directly to the goggles. The first thing you're supposed to do when you have the headset is, of course, adjust the focus distance. That way, your eyes adjust properly. It's funny because there's a menu, and with the controller, you can move the cursor to click buttons and navigate. You literally see what the drone sees. And now, it's funny because if I do this, I can see myself. Let's try to make it take off. I think you have to press this button several times. There you go, and then you have to press it one more time. Okay, I admit it's unusual. I'm not used to flying a drone like this. I usually use a remote with both hands, but here everything's done with this. And actually, you steer by pointing the cursor where you want to go, you pull the trigger and it accelerates in the direction you want, whether it's down or even up. You look to the left, to the right, really wherever you want to be. So right now, I'm trying to get a couple of shots with the drone. It's a pretty crazy feeling. Actually, you feel like a little mosquito flying around, weaving between people and seeing everything from the outside. To see where we are now, I just press this button twice. Okay, and now I see, so it's this button here, the red one. It's amazing. I'll try to land it, though I've never done it, so the drone has to be there. Okay, now I see myself. I swear, it's so weird because you feel like you're landing, like you're falling onto the ground yourself. What I'm really looking forward to seeing is the image quality afterwards. What the footage from this drone looks like and what the user experience is like. I would say it's quite a unique experience. Anyway, I've never seen this before, never done this before. Here, you really feel like you're in the drone's place and being able to look left, right and down. And that makes all the difference. I'm having my girlfriend Anastasia try out the Antigravity. Fun fact, she's visually impaired. She's about 80 to 90% blind. So if she can drive it, anyone can. I just hope she doesn't crash it into a tree.
I think it's easier.
It's easier than you thought.
Yeah, because I have a problem with my eyes. For me, it's really cool too.
If I have to give feedback on this first use of the Antigravity A1, it's that this is not at all the usual way we use drones. And obviously I think we're going to need to experiment a bit. Test it out to really understand which shots will look good, because we're not used to filming in the air in 360 degrees. So I have no idea what angle to use when I'm filming from the sky. I found it really intuitive, not really any trouble understanding how it works. You just have to point where you want and hit the throttle. So now there are a lot of other features that exist that I didn't necessarily use on my first flight because it was more about discovering things. But let's get straight to the point. So first of all, what you need to know about this drone is that it's a 360-degree drone, which means it completely erases itself in post-production. It's like when you have a regular 360-degree camera, you don't see the selfie stick. They've succeeded in ensuring the drone is completely invisible in the image during post-production. I admit, I was skeptical, expecting to see a separation line, especially in wide landscapes. To my surprise, you can't see it. Since this drone weighs 249 grams, it falls into the certified C0 category, which means you can fly it anywhere except in restricted areas. And that's cool. It comes with this bag, and inside you'll find the FPV goggles, the motion controller, and of course the drone itself, along with the batteries. And here's a little unique feature. There's a screen on the headset. So when you're filming with the drone, you get a direct feed of what the pilot sees through the goggles. So if there's someone next to you, they can see what the pilot is seeing in real time. And that's pretty cool, honestly. And that's a nice transition to this topic, because this is a drone that falls into the category of FPV drones. Legally, you need one person filming the pilot and another accompanying the pilot to ensure everything is okay in case something goes wrong. So now, on the filming side, you can take photos and video in 8K. So 8K might sound really impressive, but that's because it's actually two cameras combined to create a 360-degree view. So of course, the resolution is huge. You can take photos and videos, so I took a few photos. I think they are nice, but the main appeal is making videos, especially because of the creative options you'll have later. The Antigravity has two types of batteries. There are the standard batteries, which have a battery life of about 23 minutes, and there are the higher capacity batteries that offer up to 36 minutes of flight per battery. I've only ever used one or two batteries per shoot, so I really felt like I was getting a lot of time with it. A couple of batteries are enough for a great flying experience, especially since you won't wear the headset for 3 hours. There's no need to buy 150 batteries. Sensors around the drone enable 360-degree obstacle avoidance. And I can say that I really tested it because I almost hit some trees when I was in the forest. And every time I got too close to an obstacle, it would stop immediately. And then I could get back on track and do something else. On the motion controller, the red button is the return button. If you lose transmission or have an issue, press it and the device will rise slightly and return to its starting point. This is a useful safety feature. So in the settings, there's also an FPV mode. The FPV mode, well, it's not really an FPV mode because with a real FPV drone, the throttle isn't always activated. So you always have to keep pushing the joystick to give the drone power. Here, the FPV mode is just a different control mode. And the only difference is that, well, with the motion controller, to rotate the drone in place, you have to turn it like this. Honestly, I didn't find this mode very useful, but it deserves its place. And speaking of this kind of feature, you should know that there's a cockpit mode, which I think is very important, that lets you fly as if you're riding a dragon in the sky. Honestly, it doesn't change anything about the image quality or even the user experience. But knowing that a team must have spent hours coding this really makes me laugh. Another interesting thing is that with the headset, if you press the home button on the side twice, you can see your hands through the headset's camera. You can really see what's in front of you. If someone talks to you or you need to pick something up, you have that. It was useful for me since I sometimes didn't know where I was stepping. And since I was by the lake, it was good not to fall into the water. And speaking of the headset, I found it quite comfortable. Of course, I think if you wear it for 15 hours straight, it will start to feel a bit heavy, but I didn't have any specific issues using it. Maybe that's partly because there's no battery in the headset. Well, that means you have to connect the battery to the headset and then let the battery hang around your neck with the little strap or put it in a pocket. So that's a bit annoying. They also have other features like Deep Track, which allows you to track a subject and follow it, or Sky Pass. It lets you set a route in advance so the drone can follow it autonomously, giving you the creative shots you planned from start to finish. And the advantage of SkyPass is that it lets you plan a route in advance and then give your headset to a friend so they can experience the drone in real time and look around them. This way, if a family member can't or doesn't want to fly the drone, you can activate this mode so they can enjoy the scenery. And finally, I wanted to test if the drone was wind resistant and could capture beautiful footage. So I asked a friend named Alex if I could join him during a paragliding session because he was paragliding near my place. Thanks to him, I got great shots and can confirm the drone handles wind well. There was some wind that day, but as you can see, the drone stays stable despite its weight. Unfortunately, the fact that he was paragliding probably didn't please one of the elderly ladies who was there watching the dune. So she called the police and we got stopped a few minutes later. As for me, nothing happened. At least I got my shots and I'm very happy about that. But poor Alex got a small fine. I want to thank him for helping us get great shots for this video. Alex, sending a hug. That covers filming. Now let's focus on post-production and what's possible with this drone, since that's the exciting part. Antigravity provides software to process the images the drone takes, as well as a mobile app. And that's cool, because you can use a phone directly, connect it to the headset to see the images, export them, edit a shot, make a quick edit with the footage, and so on. Personally, I mainly use the software because I find it more precise. I'm more used to sitting in front of my computer and planning, setting my keyframes to really get the shot I want. It's software that's very easy to use. Just import your files, and with the keyframe system, you can set a view path. Framing here at one point, then reframing elsewhere later, and so on. It's so comprehensive that you can choose the speed curve between two keyframes. For example, I want the framing to move from left to right. Well, I want this transition, this moment of transition, to be smoothed linearly, or for it to be slow, then fast, then slow again. So it gives a little movement transition that's very smooth and very pleasant to watch, knowing that on top of that, you can add a cinematic motion blur effect, if you can call it that, which immediately makes the image a bit less robotic and more realistic. I think you can see it on the screen right now. It's really nice to look at. And personally, I really enjoyed using this software to get the most out of my shots. And I think there's a bit of a learning curve between shooting and post-production, because at first, you don't really know where to frame or even where to look. And the more you edit with it, the more you'll understand, okay, this shot looks good, so I'll make this move. Because now we're used to doing it. You can automatically edit the viewing angle with AI. If you're lacking inspiration, it lets you automatically choose the best viewing angle and make a quick edit with the app. So it's pretty interesting. One small disappointment though is the image profile handling, because there isn't a log profile yet. So for anything related to color grading afterwards, you won't be able to do anything too advanced, even though I still managed to do a bit of grading with my own colors and my LUTs, and it actually looks pretty good. In any case, I really enjoyed editing with it, especially the intro shot where there's kind of an effect where you're flying a bit through the forest above the trees. This kind of shot is incredible for what it conveys and the feelings it evokes. To wrap up, I'll share my opinion in two parts: strengths and weaknesses, or areas for improvement, to put it nicely. One big strength is that this kind of drone unlocks incredible creative possibilities. It's never been done before. I'm glad to see some innovation in the drone industry, where things usually stay the same except for improved image quality. Well, this time, Antigravity really delivered in terms of creativity. Because there's innovation during filming, the experience itself is immersive, and it's really almost... There are people, I think, who are going to buy this drone just for the experience. Just to put this on their head, fully immerse themselves in the sky, and feel like a bird. In post-production, we can add many new effects. For example, I don't know, let's say we film a single shot, so we're really filming one video, but with that single video, we might be able to get 3 different viewing angles out of it. And that completely redefines the way we work. There's a sense of freedom and real creative potential, new paths opening up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what people will be able to do with this kind of technology, because there are surely impossible shots that we would never have thought of, but that are now possible. To continue with the strengths, the ease of control. I find it pretty impressive. In just a few minutes, you quickly get how it works. So this drone can definitely already be used for YouTube, social media, and even for more professional videos with creative shots. I think it's possible. Now, what are the points that are not as strong or could be improved? Point number 1 is going to be the image quality. I think the image quality is decent, but in the future, I'd like even better quality with more detail. Because it's true that when you really zoom in on an image, it's going to lack a bit of sharpness and detail. Even though it's not really a problem when you're zoomed out and have a wide angle of view with the camera. Secondly, I would really like a future drone to have a log mode, or maybe even a firmware update so we can have more advanced color grading afterwards. That would be really cool. I'm used to flying traditional drones with a remote control and joysticks. And even though I think it's really cool to be able to control it with your hand and just movements, it's true that for really professional use, knowing exactly where you're looking and when you're going there would be cool. So maybe in the future, at least I hope so, they could offer 2 ways to control the drone. One with the motion controller and another with a controller dedicated to the drone for a more professional and immersive use. In conclusion, I enjoyed piloting this drone and capturing footage. I'm very pleased with the final images. The drone, as of now, we don't know how much it's going to cost, but I imagine it will be released soon, so we'll see how that turns out. And to finish, I leave you with a little message.
This drone, the Antigravity A1, it's not really a drone like the ones we are used to seeing. It's a new way of thinking about flight, a new way of seeing the world. For the first time, the boundary between the pilot and the sky disappears. You're no longer just looking through a screen, but you're completely immersed in the image. It's the first 360 drone that already gives us a small glimpse of the future, even though some things will of course evolve. Probably in the future, more precise framing options for more professional shots, and even higher image quality. This drone already shows great potential. The possibilities are huge. Framing 3 shots in one take, for example, is impressive. How far will we be able to push the limits of what we can capture and film? And what if the future of aerial video isn't just about what we film, but also about what we feel while flying?
That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing me again on the channel. For me, it was a pleasure, and honestly, I can't wait to come back. So, sponsors, if you're watching, we're here, we're waiting for you. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and let us know what you thought. If there are any of you who support me in my effort to come back here on NowTech, let me know. Take care and see you very soon on NowTech Action. Bye!
Well, Hugo, those were beautiful shots. Giving you that drone was definitely the right choice. It was interesting to hear an expert's opinion. And it's true that for me, as a beginner with drones, since I hardly ever use them, it really makes me want to try because it feels like it's super easy to handle. Having tried the Insta360 X5 myself, I think the image quality is very similar. Also, the engineers from Antigravity just told us that, for example, they're also working on a log mode. So it's coming. It will be E-log, just like on the X5. So that should make imaging professionals happy. In any case, what we do know for sure is that the teams are continuing to work on this A1 model to improve it. And if you want to see more videos about imaging tools, we'll put up the playlist of other Insta360 products we've tested this year. And we'll see you again very soon for the next video, and maybe very soon with Hugo as well.